The bright lights of Las Vegas have always promised endless crowds, packed casinos, and streets that never sleep. But today, something feels different. The famous strip looks half empty, and for the first time in decades, people are asking the same haunting question: why does the city of sin look like a ghost town? Behind the flashing neon, behind the billion-dollar towers, a truth has started to slip out, and it didn't come from rumor or speculation. It came straight from a former mayor of Las Vegas, someone who knows exactly how the city works. In a shocking admission, this ex-official revealed that what's happening isn't just bad luck, and it isn't just about the economy. According to their words, the emptiness of Las Vegas in 2025 is no accident. It's deliberate, it's planned, and it's tied to decisions made in boardrooms and political offices years before tourists ever noticed the change. This revelation shakes the foundation of what people thought they knew about Vegas. Was the emptiness created on purpose to reset the casino industry? Were deals struck in secret to benefit only a handful of powerful investors? And if the former mayor is finally admitting it, how much darker does the hidden story go? Tonight, we uncover the secrets behind why Las Vegas is empty on purpose and the shocking truth that city leaders never wanted you to hear. For decades, Las Vegas was the shining capital of entertainment in America, a city that never needed to sleep because the world never stopped coming. In the 1970s and 1980s, Vegas was a place where stars performed, nightly gamblers packed every table, and tourists lined up for shows that sold out weeks in advance. By the 1990s, the Strip had grown into a glittering corridor of mega resorts, each larger and more extravagant than the last. From the Bellagio fountains to the Pyramid of Luxor, these landmarks weren't just hotels, they were symbols of wealth, ambition, and the American dream. At its height, Vegas welcomed more than 40 million visitors a year. The casinos raked in billions, feeding a local economy built on nonstop motion. Taxi drivers, cocktail servers, hotel clerks, dealers, entertainers, everyone had a piece of the Vegas machine. For residents, there was a certain pride in knowing their city was famous worldwide. When people thought of escape, indulgence, or danger, they thought of Las Vegas. But the rise of Vegas was not just about entertainment. Behind the bright lights, the city became a hub for boxing matches, high-profile concerts, and even political gatherings. Deals were made in casino backrooms that shaped industries far beyond Nevada. Billionaires built empires off the Strip. Celebrities cemented their names with residencies that paid tens of millions. The city felt unstoppable, insulated from the problems that plagued other American towns. The numbers told the story. In 2019, just before the world changed, Vegas pulled in over $36 billion in gaming and tourism revenue. Its airports were flooded with international travelers. Business conventions filled hotels to capacity. Even when America faced recessions, Las Vegas always seemed to bounce back, fueled by its unique mix of risk, luxury, and illusion. That is why the sight of empty sidewalks and deserted gaming floors in 2025 feels so unreal. To understand the magnitude, you have to remember what Vegas once represented. It was the escape valve for millions, a place where rules bent and the clock didn't matter. People saved for years to spend a single week there, knowing it was unlike anywhere else on Earth. The city's growth had also been engineered carefully. Local leaders, casino magnates, and developers had invested billions to ensure Vegas stayed ahead of other destinations. Every decade brought something bigger, whether it was the Mirage in 1989, which introduced the concept of the themed mega resort, or the Venetian in 1999, which recreated the canals of Venice on American soil. These projects weren't just buildings. They were statements. Vegas would always reinvent itself, and it would always win. But as the towers reached higher, the pressure built underneath. The competition for visitors grew cutthroat. Smaller casinos were swallowed by giants. Workers felt squeezed by rising costs. And even as headlines celebrated, the glamour cracks began to show. By the time the pandemic hit in 2020, the illusion of invincibility was broken. Still few believed Vegas could ever truly fall. Even in its darkest moments, the Strip found a way back. That is why today's reality is so disturbing. To see the heart of Las Vegas beating slower than ever before, raises a new set of questions. If the city that once symbolized unstoppable growth could now stand half empty, what force was strong enough to make it happen? The answer, as we'll discover, may not be about chance at all. It may be about control. And as one former mayor has admitted, the emptiness we see was never an accident. It was written into the city's future long before the lights began to dim. Walking down the Las Vegas Strip in 2025, the change is impossible to ignore. The sidewalks that once overflowed with tourists from across the world now feel strangely spacious. On a Saturday night, when Bellagio should be buzzing and the Caesar's Palace floor should be packed, you can actually hear the echo of your own footsteps. The neon signs still flicker, the slot machines still spin, but the crowds, the lifeblood of this city, are missing. Workers who have lived through decades of ups and downs whisper the same thing: they've never seen it like this before. A taxi driver who has been on the Strip since the 1990s admits, even after the 2008 financial crash, people still came. Even after 2020, when the world shut down, the Strip bounced back. But this feels different. This feels planned. His words echo the unease carried by waitresses, bellhops, and casino dealers. Each of them describes long stretches of empty hours, shifts cut short, and wages falling. The data backs them up. Hotel occupancy rates have dropped sharply, leaving entire floors unbooked. Analysts report that certain Strip resorts, which once averaged 90% capacity, are struggling to reach 50% on weekends. Restaurants that used to require reservations days in advance now seat walk-ins instantly. The local convention calendar, once a crown jewel of Vegas revenue, shows entire weeks with no major bookings. Why are people staying away? Some point to rising costs. A single night in a mid-level Strip hotel can now exceed $300, with resort fees and taxes pushing it even higher. Parking, once free, now costs upwards of $25 a day. Even a simple buffet, once a Vegas tradition, can run $60 to $80 per person. For families, Vegas no longer feels like the affordable escape it once was. Others blame safety concerns. News headlines have amplified reports of robberies, scams, and incidents involving tourists. Visitors who came expecting luxury often leave with stories of being overcharged or feeling unsafe after dark. And then there's the global factor. International travel from regions like China has slowed dramatically, leaving a gaping hole in the visitor numbers. Chinese tourists once spent billions on gaming and shopping, and their absence is being felt everywhere, from the luxury boutiques in the Venetian to the baccarat tables at Wynn. Still, the emptiness feels too coordinated, too consistent to be explained by rising prices or shifting travel habits alone. Employees mention unspoken rules from management, where certain sections of casinos are deliberately closed or entire shows are paused despite there being demand. It's like they want the place to look half empty, one bartender claims. We don't understand it, but they tell us it's temporary, part of a bigger reset. The public only sees the surface: fewer tourists, shorter lines, and casinos that appear to be struggling. But insiders believe this appearance of struggle hides a deeper strategy. Because in Vegas, nothing is left to chance, not even the emptiness of a casino floor. The financial numbers reveal another strange pattern. While tourism revenue has dipped, the profits of the largest casino corporations remain steady, even rising in some cases. How can that be? The answer may lie in hidden deals, where losses on the Strip are offset by global operations in Macau, Singapore, and online betting platforms. For the big players, Vegas may no longer be about filling every room. It may be about creating the illusion of scarcity while repositioning themselves for the next era of profit. This is why whispers about a planned emptiness refuse to die. Locals can't shake the feeling that the city's silence is not organic. The pieces don't add up. The Strip looks like it's hurting, but the corporations act like they're winning. Tourists are told Vegas is expensive because of inflation, but insiders suspect the real reason is that leaders want fewer people spending more money, rather than millions spending less. The effect on ordinary residents has been devastating. Bartenders, croupiers, and cab drivers. The very people who built Vegas with their labor are being pushed aside as the city quietly restructures itself. And while they struggle to survive, the question grows louder. Is the emptiness of Las Vegas part of a secret plan? That question hung in the air until a former mayor stepped forward with an answer. And once they spoke, it became clear that the silence on the strip wasn't an accident at all. It was engineered. The rumors had been swirling for months, but everything changed when a former mayor of Las Vegas finally decided to break the silence. In a sit-down interview in 2025, they admitted something that shocked both locals and tourists alike. The emptiness of Las Vegas was not an accident, it was by design. The former mayor, who once oversaw the city during its boom years, described closed-door meetings that took place as far back as the early 2010s. According to their account, city leaders, powerful casino executives, and select Wall Street investors had all gathered to discuss what they saw as the future of Las Vegas. At that time, the Strip was thriving. But insiders worried that the old model millions of visitors spending modest amounts was no longer sustainable. They wanted fewer people spending far more money. The mayor's admission was chilling. What you see today isn't collapse, it's a controlled burn. They wanted to clear out the old, the chaotic, the cheap, and replace it with something more profitable. And they knew it would mean making the city look half empty. This revelation connected many of the dots that locals had been struggling to explain. Why were entire hotel towers left unbooked even when demand existed? Why were restaurants and shows canceled despite tickets selling? Why did the city's biggest resorts keep reporting strong profits while smaller casinos quietly folded? According to the former mayor, this was the strategy. By manufacturing scarcity, the corporations could reshape the city's image and prepare for a new elite clientele. The words of the former mayor also pulled back the curtain on the role of politics. They described intense pressure from both state officials and national lobbyists tied to the casino industry. Every decision, whether to approve a new mega resort, whether to allow foreign investors to buy into properties, whether to raise fees on parking and resort stays, was made not for the sake of the public, but for the interests of those few at the top. Las Vegas, they explained, was never just about tourism. It was about control. And control meant deciding exactly who the city was built for. For residents, the confession stung. The former mayor admitted that local families, workers, and even small business owners were considered expendable. Rising rents, vanishing tips, and reduced work hours weren't unfortunate side effects, they were part of the reset. The emptiness created an excuse to push out old players and replace them with global corporations ready to buy up land and property at bargain prices. This shocking statement also shed light on the connection between Las Vegas and the wider financial world. The mayor claimed that major Wall Street firms and overseas investors, especially those tied to casino hubs like Macau, were involved in discussions about how to make the Strip more exclusive. The truth, they said, is that Las Vegas has always been a mirror of global power. If the Strip is empty, it's because someone powerful wanted it that way. As their word spread, residents remembered the strange policies that now made sense in hindsight. Why had the city allowed the demolition of certain mid-tier resorts instead of preserving them? Why had once iconic buffets been closed permanently, even after demand returned? Why were new mega projects announced, even while old properties sat half empty? The former mayor's admission tied it all together. The emptiness was not failure, it was preparation. The reaction was explosive. Some called the former mayor brave for speaking out, while others accused them of trying to deflect blame. But one thing was undeniable: their words matched the reality people saw on the ground. Tourists complained of being priced out. Workers struggled more than ever. Yet the billion-dollar corporations behind the Strip seemed unaffected. In the days after the confession, media outlets replayed the mayor's words again and again. This isn't Vegas falling apart. This is Vegas being rebuilt, and not for everyone. For many, it was the confirmation of their worst fears that the magic of Las Vegas had been deliberately hollowed out, its emptiness used as a tool to shape a future where only the wealthiest would belong. But this revelation also raised another unsettling question. If the emptiness was engineered, then who exactly stood to benefit from it? And just how far would those in power go to protect this secret plan? Once the former mayor's confession spread, the next logical question was simple: who benefits from an empty Las Vegas? Because in this city, nothing happens without someone cashing in. And when you look closely, the winners of this silence begin to emerge. First, the biggest beneficiaries are the mega casino corporations. Companies like MGM Resorts and Caesars Entertainment have weathered downturns before, but this time they seem strangely calm. While hotel occupancy plunges, their balance sheets still show strong earnings. How? Because these corporations have diversified. They're not just relying on the Strip anymore. They've expanded into Macau, Singapore, Dubai, and online gambling platforms that reach millions worldwide. The Strip, once their lifeline, is now a tool, a billboard for luxury exclusivity and control. An emptier Strip doesn't hurt them. It helps them reset the market. Second, Wall Street investors have quietly swooped in. Properties once worth billions are now being sold at discounts. Hedge funds and private equity firms see the silence on the Strip as an opportunity to buy prime real estate at fire sale prices. One insider described it as a controlled clearance sale. For them, every empty casino floor and every half-booked hotel is leveraged to push out weaker owners and consolidate control under fewer, more powerful hands. Third, foreign investors stand to gain. With Vegas repositioning itself as a playground for the ultra-wealthy overseas billionaires, especially from regions like Asia and the Middle East, are buying into properties and projects. The absence of the everyday tourist makes it easier to market the city as an exclusive retreat for elites. Where families once lined up for buffets, now private high-roller salons are being built designed for clients willing to wager millions in a single night. But as the rich profit, the losers are everywhere. Casino workers who once relied on crowded floors and heavy tips now see their incomes shrink. Taxi drivers and rideshare operators wait longer for fares. Street performers and small vendors, those who gave the Strip its chaotic character, are slowly disappearing. Even local small businesses off the Strip, like diners and shops that thrived on spillover tourism, are now facing closure. The former mayor's admission painted these outcomes not as accidents, but as intended consequences. They wanted to thin the herd, the mayor explained. Not just the tourists, but the businesses too. If you couldn't survive this emptiness, then you weren't meant to survive in the new Las Vegas. It's a harsh truth that explains why so many smaller casinos, once iconic, are vanishing. Properties like the Tropicana, which carried decades of history, are now shuttered or demolished, their land sold off to developers promising billion-dollar mega projects. To the corporations and investors, these closures are victories. To residents, they are erasures of history. Beyond the Strip, another group benefits: the real estate developers. With tourism slowed and property values fluctuating, developers are buying parcels of land at deep discounts. Already, plans are in motion for new luxury condos, private resorts, and entertainment complexes designed not for the average visitor, but for the global elite. The emptiness gives them cover to build without the pressure of pleasing the millions who once flooded Vegas. Meanwhile, political leaders gain something to control. The fewer people there are on the Strip, the easier it is to regulate, monitor, and restructure. By keeping Vegas quiet, officials can claim they are addressing overcrowding or safety concerns, while in reality, they're ensuring that only a select group of corporations and investors call the shots. This shift has a dark irony. For decades, Las Vegas sold itself on inclusivity. Anyone could come, anyone could play, anyone could win. But the new Vegas being engineered is the opposite. It is a city of gates, velvet ropes, and private rooms designed to keep most people out. And that is why the emptiness matters. It isn't a failure, it's a filter. As residents struggle and smaller players collapse, the true winners remain hidden in boardrooms and investment portfolios. They thrive while the city's streets fall silent. And as the former mayor warned, this transformation is far from over. The emptiness is only the beginning of a larger plan, one that could redefine what Las Vegas means for the entire world. So now the Strip stands quieter than ever, and the neon glow of Las Vegas tells a story that few expected. The crowds are gone, the sidewalks are half empty, and the sound of chips clinking against the felt is softer, almost hesitant. But thanks to the words of a former mayor, we now know this emptiness is not random. It's not just the result of inflation crime or changing travel habits. It's deliberate. It's engineered. The revelation leaves us with haunting questions. If the silence of Vegas in 2025 is part of a secret reset, then what comes next? Who else behind the scenes has known about this? And how many other decisions about the city's future are being made in back rooms far away from the glittering Strip? What's clear is that this transformation isn't just about casinos or tourism, it's about power. By creating a controlled emptiness, the city is being reshaped for a different kind of visitor, a different kind of world. The ordinary families, the budget travelers, the workers who built the Strip's legend, they're being left behind, while billionaires, corporations, and global investors step into their place. For decades, Vegas promised that anyone could play, anyone could win. But now, the house seems to be choosing who even gets a seat at the table. And if the former mayor's admission is true, then the Vegas we once knew may never return. The only question left is, will the world accept this new Las Vegas, or will the silence of the Strip finally spark a backlash? If you want to uncover more hidden truths behind America's most iconic cities, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. The secrets of Las Vegas may just be the beginning.